walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. New look, got the ladies shook. New watch saying it's my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, you can buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Man with a vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We coming ready or not, you better steady yourself, because we're racing somehow. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing off. We're taking over the town, hit the switch and shut it down. Like Indian, we're electric, never stop. We're coming ready or not, we're coming ready or not. We're giving all that we got, we're giving all that we got. We're coming ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire, the stratosphere getting high.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new Click It RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at Click It RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
What's going on, eNASCAR fans? It's Terry Raptor back with LSR TV and FTN's coverage of the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series. This is round one of round two. This will set the stage for the 40 drivers that are going to go compete in the eNASCAR Contender Series, which will start right after we do Bristol Dirt here in a little while. But I'm Terry Radford, Jason Rockefeller, and Daniel Falkingham, driver in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, here to bring you coverage all season long for this here. As you see Brian Mercio out here putting a lap down. And Jason, welcome to Mid-Ohio. 13 turns, 5 minutes of qualifying, and you didn't seem too enthused when we said 5 minutes.
This is a really short time to get around here, especially in Mid-Ohio. I mean, yeah, you know, this isn't the biggest road course in the world, but I tell you what, Mr. Radford, this is a fantastic road course right in Lexington, Ohio. 15 turns. It's going to be a really, really fun race to call here tonight. I mean, road course racing is one of my favorite things. We have a blast doing it. I think actually my last time we called a road course race together was actually here at Mid-Ohio. So I'm looking forward to it. Also glad to see the eNASCAR side of things here back on FTN and LSR TV here tonight. It should be one heck of a race. I cannot wait to see these eNASCAR Road to Pro drivers take on Mid-Ohio.
And we'll bring in our driver who came off of the Chicago street course, was not unprecedented for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, as you guys were. Well, iRacing was the first ever to race on that circuit for the Pro Invitational and also for the Coke Series as well for the All-Star race a season ago. Daniel Falkingham, it's good to have you back. Glad that you have the new setup and you're ready to go as we watch Kenny Brady lay a lap down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward, ready to kick off round two. I had a blast with you guys round one. I'm glad you all brought me back. Appreciate everyone who was able to bring me back. Excuse me, choking on my own saliva here. Anyway, but yeah, looking forward. Chicago did not go to plan. We had a pretty strong run going, until we got up, collected in a few messes. I may or may not have bended in the tires at turn 1 a few times, but it was definitely a rough outing for us at Chicago, which is very unprecedented for me because I enjoy that kind of racing. It was new for all of us, but definitely had a blast racing, even though the results didn't go our way. So looking to bounce back at Nashville Tuesday night, but right now we're looking forward to seeing how these guys get on here at Mid-Ohio. This should be a very fun race tonight. We got 45 laps. Pit strategy might be all over the place. I'm ready to go.
Cannot wait to catch you. That is Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, or 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Countdown to Green. 9 o'clock kicks off the broadcast. That's on twitch.tv/iRacing or YouTube. You can catch iRacing's there as well, eNASCAR.live. Wherever you can find your eNASCAR news and coverage, that's where it goes. Logan Helton takes your top spot currently with a 125.632. That sets the fast time, and see a lot of drivers. Now Hurst goes to the top. I'm going to screw his name up every time. The one car, Mercio, goes in third. Kerner, Coyne. Now Humpy goes in there. Kenny Brady goes up to fifth there. There is a lot of big names in here, Jason Rockefeller, that's ready to go to try to stake claim in the first round. For $300,000, well, I mean, a decent shot. You make it through this round, contender. Might not be the easiest because it's Xfinity cars, but gives you a good opportunity to stake your claim if you do it here.
Yeah, and also Mercurio, Radford.
Mercurio. I read it stupid.
Mercurio. I guess that's the Georgia education you're always talking about in there.
Tennessee education.
Tennessee education. But hey, yeah, I'm looking forward to this race. You know, you talk about the potential with pit strategy and whatnot. 45 laps. These guys only have 3 sets of tires, you know, besides the ones that are going to be on the truck. You know, we go to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course here tonight. Pocono on July 20th, Indianapolis Raceway Park, IRP, on August 3rd. August 17th, Michigan, then September 1st, Milwaukee, and then we go to Bristol Dirt September 14th. And to round out the Road to Pro season, we have Homestead, Miami on September 28th. This is a very vast variation of tracks. You go from a road course to probably, in my opinion, the trickiest track, one of the trickiest tracks on the NASCAR circuit. You get some short track action in there. Some 1.5 mile super speedway type stuff, and then we go down dirt, and then you end it off all with Homestead, Miami. So this race right here is probably going to project these guys further on into the next few races to see how they do. So a really good finish here tonight is going to mean a lot.
Well, that music can only mean one thing here on LSR TV and FTN. Your start lineup down here at the bottom. That's where you're going to find Taylor Hurst in the number 10 machine with Logan Helton to the outside, row 1. Row 2, Brian, how'd you say it? Mercurio and Eddie Kerner back there on row 2. I just wanted to hear you say it. Kenny Brady and Kenny Humpy back there in row 3. Row 4, Briar LaPratt and Jack Coyne. And rounding out that top 10, Jason, you got Cole Hooper and Michael Venable.
Here we got Jackson Crowder in the 31 and Noah Bitts in the 19. Row 7, Matthew Zwack and Boyd Hogan in the 21. Row 8, Brandon Pitgrass and Matt Kemp in the 14. Row 9, Mitchell Hunt in the 33 and Brad Wright in the 25. And rounding out your top 20, Dominic Lukomsky and Timmy Pacioli.
That was actually pretty good. Row 11, you got Zach Nichols and James Holzer. Back there in row 12, Seth DeMerchant making a run for it, and Caden Rush in the 28. Row 13, Jesse Kaplan and 04-time Ray Alfala. Row 14, you got Hunter G. We'll just call him Hunter G tonight. And Brendan Himmel. Back there in 30th. Row 15, Hunter Johnson and Chris Wetz. Trayton Lapovich and Matthew Bear back there on row 16. And last but not least, John Jenkins in the number 17 starts on row 17. That's the top to bottom of your starting grid. And Dan, I got to come to you. You talked about pit strategy. Tell me how crazy lap 1 can get.
Well, we'll have to find out here pretty soon because these guys are only a couple corners away from going green, so we're going to make this quick. Pit strategy, we'll see how it's going to go when we kick off this race. I think my theory is we're going to want to pit as early as you can so you can make it to the end because dirty air is going to be a huge factor here on this very twisty, turny road course. But we'll see what happens. But we're getting ready to get underway, Terry.
Here we go. Pace sedan is off. Green flags in the air. We're racing at Mid-Ohio style with Hurst gets a massive jump over Logan Helton. And you got the one back there in third, Kerner, Brady, all trying to fight it out here. But Taylor Hurst leads them through one. And Jason, they're coming to you. Looks like clean and green so far.
Right now, starting to kind of migrate, being single file as they head into the keyhole right now. Turn number 2. You're looking from the 41 machine. Brian Mercurio, he gets around the keyhole perfectly. Everyone tries to put down the power there off turn number 2. All the way down this long back straightaway. Draft wake's going to be huge. And then a huge braking zone coming right down here into turn 4, right by China Beach. Dan, they're headed your way.
Yes, for sure. Kenny Brady riding in the 4th position. Everything looking clean and green so far. Taylor Hurst seems to lead the way with Helton. Mercurio gets to the bumper of Logan Helton there as they're going through the next corner here. Seems to be all single file. This is what we're going to see early on. Lots of single file racing. Oh, we got a little side-by-side there in the back there a little bit. But everyone, single file. Here's the side-by-side. We got Cole Hooper battling for the, looks like the first spot in the top 10 here, trying to make out who he's battling for position for. Oh, almost contact. That's a very tight corner coming off right there. Still side-by-side. Lots of side-by-side action in the opening laps, but they're going to sort it out down here as we get down. And that's Noah Bitts battling for the top 10 here as they're coming around the final corner to complete lap number 1 here, Terry.
Yeah, lap number 1 is in the books as the leaders are starting to get through the final 2 corners. You saw that little bit of a battle there with Hooper and Bitts. That not a whole lot of side-by-side going on through the field. Everybody in conservation mode. You talked about that, Jason. We're going to Pocono next. It's, I would say, 2 strategy races back-to-back as you take a look back here at the 31st position with Chris Wetz. Not having the ready one. Oh, very loose there in front of him. Whoever's in 30th, that was a bad start. But everybody kept it somewhat good as Hunter Johnson sitting there in that 29th spot. And man, Jason, it's cold tires and not fun as there's Ray Alfalla trying to make his way through this field.
He's through this field. Don't be surprised. He knows his way around road courses. He knows his way around every track. So Ray is probably going to be a driver to look for here, maybe later on in this race. But Terry, we talked about conservation mode right at the top of the broadcast, and then right when we went green. And that's a really big key thing. Obviously, when you talk about conservation, you want to make sure that you keep the tires on the racing surface. You want to make sure that you're not braking too hard, braking too early, shifting too early, shifting too late. There's so many factors that go into road racing, especially in stock cars. You know, there's so much stuff that can happen. And if you could just come out of here with a nice solid finish, no X's, no nothing, no getting off in a China Beach off turn number 4, you can really come away with, a pretty solid finish here. We just talked about, too, this schedule for round 2 for Road to Pro, it's very vast. There's a lot of different tracks. And if you just have one mishap tonight, Terry, you can really set yourself up for, just a struggling next few races points-wise.
Could be a bad chance points-wise. And Dan, I'll come to you. You've been through this grind to make your way to the Coke Series. A lot of these drivers probably didn't want to start on a road course, especially for the drivers that aren't necessarily the strongest here. If you think this is going to be the week that you're going to have a bad run, what's your mindset going into Pocono? Knowing that we have a dirt race as well, with a very crazy race at IRP, where do you put yourself here? Do you just want to get what you can, or do you want to try to go off cycle as much as possible?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued with that because, like what we said, this round 2 schedule, vastly different from what we had in round 1. We got a mix of short tracks. We got dirt in there, a road course, some big super speedway-like tracks like Pocono and Michigan, like we were talking about. So if you're coming in thinking here's my opinion. You can't have that mindset you're going to run bad. I mean, if road course racing isn't your strong suit, then so be it. You got to do what you can to get every last bit of speed or every ounce of confidence you can out of yourself and try to prove the best you can be. And we've seen some guys that are not going to be very good here. Like we see Ray Alfalla, he's back in 26. We've had that idea. Ray may have not run strong on road courses in the past. He's got to get all he can in these first few laps and throughout this race because dirty air is very heavy here. It's going to be very hard to pass. So he's going to need to play some big pit strategy if he's going to jump a lot of these guys in front of him.
Ray Alfalla coming into this season. It was the first time in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing, the Peak Series as well, that we saw Ray Alfalla not a part of it, Jason. And I think that kind of took a lot of people by surprise that the 4-time champion could not stay in, even with the win at Nashville last season, could not stay inside to make his way into it from contender back into the Coke Series this season. He had to work his way all the way back up through this grind. And it's been a while since he's done it. And now here he finds himself round 1 of round 2, had a very good round 1, getting a win the latter part of the season, and now he's going to have to fight his way back up and fight and claw. The snake split might put him a little bit further in the points than what he wanted to be.
Yeah, you see some great battling going up here right now with Dominic Lugomski. He almost got into the door right there, right next to him. What a chop right there, right on the 17. That Dynaco number 16 machine is digging right now. He's heading through one of the final 2 turns here at this 15-turn road course. But yeah, you talk about Ray Alfalla missing that. I mean, that's huge. And to think to yourself, he hasn't had to do this in a while. Yeah, he races probably with some of these guys in official stuff when he decides to race official racing, whether it be fixed, open, whatever it might be, road, you never know. Because there's just so many vastly different options to do on iRacing, so many different cars, and obviously so many different splits, you know. But Ray is doing this again for the first time in a very long time. This is a whole new field for him to really compete against. And here he is right now behind so many cars, so many drivers he's never seen, never heard of, never talked to, never raced with, for gosh sakes, up until Road to Pro started here. You know, and I mean, it's just very, very different for Ray. He's going to have to really have his mindset in, you know, just a positive state here throughout these next few weeks, throughout these next few months, if he wants to make it back to pro and then ultimately make it back to the Coke Series as well.
We're going to be good to see what the VRS driver can do as we take a look up here at your race lead. That is Taylor Hurst, and there's Taylor Hurst, Logan Helton right there as well. He just fell back a little bit. It looks like that Helton's getting a decent enough run here to try to make the pass. But you talked about tire conservation there, Dan, and for all of these drivers, you talked about dirty air not being what they necessarily wanted to have. Are we potentially, and I mean truly potentially, looking at one of these races that if they can keep it close, we can short pit them and try to make it work?
Oh, for sure, because tire fall off is huge, or that's what I've at least noticed. It's way different because in the next gen and the trucks are way different in terms of like the road course tire. With the next gen, the tires feel better. We see some side-by-side action back there. It looks like Eddie Carter and others, but the difference between the next gen and the trucks in terms of the road course tires is vastly different. Where there's actual fall off in the trucks, where in the next gen there is no fall off. Like you have to get faster and faster and faster the more you run in the next gen. So it's like a full 180 between these trucks and the current next gens. But the one thing you're still saying, the dirty air is very huge, and we can definitely start to see it because I think from what I've been watching these last few laps, seeing these guys racing and battling, Logan Helton looks pretty quick. I don't know, there's times he looked faster than Taylor Hurst. He's on his bumper, but Taylor's starting to get away now. But I'm watching Brian Mercurio here in P3, he may be looking a little faster than Logan right here, but I really can't find a way around him. There are a few good break-in zones on the track, into the keyhole and into turn 4, where at the start of the S's, or at China Beach. So pit strategy is going to be a huge factor. I'd say if you're in the top 3, and if you pit first, you're probably going to win the race. If I'm Mercurio and I'm able to pull off a pit strategy where I can undercut both Logan and Taylor, if I feel fast enough and I can hold them off in traffic, I'd say you're going to be the race winner. But we'll have to wait and see. We're still a little way away from pit stops. We'll still have to see what happens. Whether you want to undercut, if you know you can make it on fuel pit immediately, or maybe go long, do the overcut, we'll just have to wait and see.
I like he brought up Brian Mercurio, who's sitting there in the 3rd place position. He was faster than the 2 leaders that are in front of him. It was a 127.240 for Taylor Hurst, a 127.192, and then a 127.109 for the driver there of the 1 machine. He was able to close in just a little bit, but the fastest lap so far of this race is Logan Helton, who's sitting in 2nd with a 126.627. So early speed here for these drivers. And I find it interesting that I look up and down our timing sheet here, and the licenses for the road You got Jackson Crowder back there with a C class, Matthew Swack with a C. You got Mitchell Hunt with a D license. And there's a lot of people up and down this list, Jason, that don't necessarily have the A license that you would expect, but a lot of these drivers are used to the oval side of things. As you take a look there at the number 33 for the Nexus Esports driver, Mitchell Hunt, has, I believe, the lowest license in here, but running pretty swell, up one position from a 17th starting spot in the 16th spot.
Big thing too with these licenses, and Terry, you just brought up a great point. You know, with these guys not running so much road, they run oval because what are we doing here? We're running stock cars. These things primarily run on the ovals. But see, the great thing about, you know, the way that NASCAR as a whole and also the eNASCAR side of things have advanced throughout the years is look at the amount of road courses we have nowadays, both in the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, the Cup Series, and even now in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, and also Pro and Road to Pro. These guys have to run good at road. If you don't run good on road, you know, just taking a random driver out here, you know, maybe Noah Bitts doesn't run a lot of road course racing. And, you know, that could really hurt him in the points. So it's very good. And it's also, like, you know, such a learning experience for these guys to be able to go out here, run road, maybe not all the time, but here and there, because it gives them a lot of practice, makes them learn about shifting time, braking points, whatever it may be. Road course racing has become a huge staple in the NASCAR world, and especially the eNASCAR world nowadays. I mean, look at the Cup Series. We just came off the first street race in NASCAR Cup Series history. And Dan, you guys ran at the Chicago Street Course too as well. I mean, you know, it's just an interesting time to be a NASCAR fan, and especially to be a virtual sim racer here on iRacing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we've been talking about the real life. Look what we saw this past weekend at the Chicago Street Course. Shane Van Gisbergen, a V8 supercar driver, filling in, doing that Project 91 special with Trackhouse. He went out and won the race. Seeing what road courses, how the change of the dynamics of road course racing, like just having more road courses, and seeing what Justin Marks is doing in Project 91, bringing more international road course stars over to our side, over into NASCAR. It's amazing to see, and I hope it continues for the future, because like a lot of people were very skeptical of road courses, even like maybe like 5-6 years ago. And it's crazy how much that dynamic has changed over the years, that we get special moments like what Mr. Van Gisbergen did this past Sunday. But yeah, I mean, even I'm a fan of road course racing. Like what you mentioned at the top of the show, a lot of people may have been very uncomfortable coming into a race like this, being the opening round or the opening race of round 2 being a road course. I don't mind it. Oh, watch out, we got Logan Helton off the track here in one of the corners. He's off in the sand trap. He gets back going. We're going to have to get a replay to see what happened. But I just saw that out of the corner of my eye, that Logan Helton just went off the track. Don't know if he had a little help there, unless he just maybe got his tire off in the grass or something, but that is valuable time lost for Logan Helton right there.
We'll take a look right here at what happened to Logan Helton as we see him sit here running second at this time, and say right here, caught the curb. He's going to be fine and smooth through this portion. He's good here.
Oh, yeah, got the grass.
Oh,
there
he
it is.
caught the curb and the grass, slid off. No harm, no foul for the Roasted Gems number 12 machine. As we're pretty familiar with the Roasted Gem coffee there, Jason. But he only falls back to 6th. I know that's easy for us to say up here as we take a look at Cole Hooper here fighting alongside. That is going to be Jackson Crowder that he's fighting there right in front of him in the number 31 machine, who is at a net gain of nothing. Jackson Crowder has sit in 11th from where he started. He is 8.9 seconds off of our race leader. Would look to see him potentially go out and try just a little bit of strategy, as he has Noah Bitts right in front of him. He also has Michael Vitable up there as well, just up the road. He's going to be able to see if he can make some moves up to the front. Our biggest mover so far in this race would be Seth DeMerchant, all the way back in 17th. He's up 6 spots from where he started. I don't know what 6 plus 17 is, but it's a lot of moves. I think Tennessee's like, what, 51st or something like that in education somewhere. I think, yeah, something like that. We're low down the board. My math skills aren't there, but Seth's doing a great job coming through the field in that number 3 machine. But it's all Hayden Hurst now, as Brian Mercurio actually had to back out of it when Logan Helton went off the racetrack. So kind of separated our leaders a little bit, Jason. Got 1.25 seconds, puts the 10 car ahead of the 1. See if that 1 can come up here and maybe try to overtake for this lead. But I would imagine pit cycle's going to be halfway.
Likely. I mean, you just talked about, too, Terry, another great point like you always mention, because you always got good points to mention.
I try.
Any broadcast you do, hey, I guess that Tennessee education does pay off here and there. You
Only for broadcasting.
Only for broadcasting, especially in the sim world. But, hey, Jackson Crowder, no net gain so far, still just outside of top 10, behind Michael Venable there in the number 9 machine. He's sitting 11th. Michael's in 10th. You talk about Seth DeMerchant, 17th right now, only +6. You just see here that it is super, super difficult to get any sort of track position remotely here. And that's the big thing. I mean, look at Logan Helton. He was running 2nd. Now he's back to 6th. Yeah, not a big, big loss, but that's a big loss maybe in the points. You never know. Maybe Logan might not have the best finishing position the next race at Pocono or the next race after that. Every position matters. Every point matters here, especially at this part of the season for Road to Pro. You're in round 2. This is where the grind starts. The grind started at Road to Pro and in preseason, but no, folks, the grind starts right now. This is the grind to go up and try to win that $300,000 in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. So these guys have to be on it consistently. You cannot make mistakes, especially in this part of the season, because as Denny Hamlin's podcast is titled, it would be an action that would be absolutely detrimental to your Road to Pro season.
Wouldn't it be a good idea if any of these drivers had a bad run? So looking at it from the outsider's perspective, from the broadcast side of things, when I get into the mind of the driver. So Dan, if you're a James Holzer who's back here in 25th, that's fighting just to try to get up here and put a staple in it, because he did say if he could get to contender, he has a really good shot. How does he make up for a 26th place finish going into Pocono if he was to run right here all race long?
Well, you got to remember, we do have I don't know if we mentioned this yet, we do have a drop week, just like we did in round 1, but we got one less race. We only have 7 races compared to the 8 races we had in round 1. So, even though you have a bad run, you just got to hope you run good at all the other races, because this is going to be your one drop week. If you're running this bad right now, or if you're not running very good, then you might as well get ready to use that drop week, because you really can't afford to run bad any other week. Because, I mean, like I said, a lot of these people almost are their bread and butter. So they gotta really put their focus towards the next couple of races and just try to get through this one, get through all the pain as quickly and without having to think about it too much. Because like I said, one drop week, so they gotta be able to use that drop week wisely. Thankfully, I was able to have a great result here at Mid-Ohio and at the next race at Pocono here last year, and I ended up getting wrecked, or I ended up wrecking at Michigan, so I had to use my drop there. So that's something you got to think about. It looks like Logan Helton's going to look up the inside of Eddie Kerner. Nope, not quite. But, yeah, even though you're not having a good night now, I mean, that's not the end of the world, let's say.
And Logan Helton trying to work his way back up where he was 2nd. Trey Lapovich is off back there in the 30th position, the number 20 Reaper Speed Labs driver. Trying to save face a little bit. He's got to go down to 32nd position to match his truck number. That's a bad night going worse there for Trayton Lapovich. It was already not having the best run and going off course, but no damage to the truck. Still has an opportunity to gain positions here as trouble can strike at any corner around Mid-Ohio Sport Car course. There's your top 5: Hayden Hurst, Brian Mercurio, Kenny Brady, Kenny Hump, and then you got Eddie Kerner. Your top 5. Is that battle still going on with Logan Helton and Jason? They're coming up the hill.
They're coming up the hill right now, coming all the way up to the keyhole, one of those hard braking zones. It's also a passing opportunity. You can see Logan Helton right there. He was coming on strong, but Ray Alfala, first one to come into the pits here, Dan. You got to think to yourself, now that Ray
missed his stall.
He missed his stall. That's huge time. And he finally gets it stopped right there. Finally going to be able to take right sides on that number 4 Silverado. And Dan, I was actually just going to cycle back to you and talk about this as to when these guys were going to try to go for the undercut maybe to a driver like Ray Alfalla, who wasn't up there. Are you surprised to see this only 14 laps in?
Well, I'm definitely not surprised. I think we're right on the edge of the fuel window that we can make it to the end. But all that time he was going to try to gain, well, he might well not even think about it now. He spent probably about 10 seconds trying to find his pit stall. It looked like his pit stall was in a very obscure area where, as he was first coming into the pits, that his pit stall was coming up immediately. So I don't think he could have recognized that. So definitely he lost a lot of time there. And I don't know, like all that time he's trying to make up, it's probably going to be very, very hard to make up now. I mean, he's going to be fast now that he's on new tires. But it don't even matter now of all the time that he just lost trying to get to his pit box. But this is now, we got Ray pitting. This is now where it's all about to kick off now probably. Because if you think you can probably make it to the end of the field, we see Boyd Hogan. He may have to make a pit stop trying to jump a couple of cars. This is now where we're about to see. We got a few more coming in here at the back of your screen right there. This is where, like I said, it's all kicking off now. Here comes Caden Rush to the pits as well.
A lot of drivers starting to come down pit road. Caden Rush missed his pit stall as well. He's going to have to back up. Very difficult pit boxes to get into here. We'll see how this goes. Here comes Trayton Lapovich, who's going to try to do what he can do to salvage exactly what he had the issue with of losing a lot of time. He fell back quite a few spots there on that slide off the racetrack. We'll wait to see if our leaders come in here, but already early mistakes. I think, oh, there goes Jackson Crowder.
Jackson Crowder.
Oh, that's a big
off
one.
The track. So he's down in China Beach. Down in China Beach. I think he's running right around the edge of the top 10. About to probably fall outside the top 20 here. We'll have to get a replay on that. But more. This is something that we don't think we mentioned too much. You've got to limit your mistakes too, because we're in probably the hardest part of the entire qualifying series before you get to contender. And you can't be making these mistakes at this stage of the qualifying series. We're about to see what happened going down here. I think that's battling with Noah Bitts. If I got that correctly, going down to turn number 4 here, side by side. Was it? Oh, it got the grass again. That's another one. You got your left rear on the grass. You get any sort of tire on the grass, you just lose all sort of grip. And then that's all essentially at the end of the race for you, as we got more people in the pit lane.
More cars.
Sorry, that was Cole Hooper he was battling with. My apologies.
Cole Hooper on pit road after the contact that was made with you got Timothy is going to come in. Hunter's going to come in as well. It's going to move a couple drivers up the. It's going to move Kaplan up to the 8th place position. Himmel, Holzer, Jenkins are all going to move up a couple positions. Well, this is early pit stops going on here, right outside that, or right inside the fuel window, to make it all the way to the end here. Trying to flip track position. You see Kenny Brady right here. He's starting to put the moves there on Kenny Humpy, who's sitting
out of position right there. Yeah, Humpy moving up the leaderboard. Start 6 is now broken into the podium places. Kenny Humpy, very good on road courses, very good around this track. He's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, doing exactly what we thought he would do here. As you see Logan Helton trying to work his way back up. He actually caught back up to the positions that he was at. He was sitting there in the 2nd place position, but he's already caught 4th and 3rd. As here comes Jack Coyne. He's going to come in, and we will see can Coyne short pit make it good for him? Can he come up there and get it done, Jason?
The possibility, but I mean, there's so many guys right now. You saw earlier Ray Alfalla, he tried to take that short pit in. You know, there's other guys too. They're just continuously going to pit as the laps progress through on before we get to halfway. I'm no pit strategy guy, that's for dang sure, especially on a road course, but I expect to see more and more drivers hit the pits here soon. My question is, when is Taylor Hurst, Ryan Mercurio, Kenny Humpy, Kenny Brady, Logan Helton, when are they going to pit? Because Taylor has been doing such a good job. He is faster than the field right now by about 5 to 6 or more tenths of a second right now in that number 10 machine. You see the 74 though on the door. He has pulled out to a 3-second lead. And here and now, Boyd Hogan, fastest lap of the race last time around in that number 96 Reaper Speed Labs machine. 1 minute, 26 seconds, .572, fastest lap of the race. Dan, you got to think to yourself too, now that these guys have some sort of, realization and understanding of the track and how they race with other drivers, how their trucks handle with the setups, you got to think that the aggressiveness level is going to crank it up a notch once they get out of pit road.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting down to the closer to the second half of this race, and some about half the field or a quarter, half the field is pitted so far. A lot of these leaders are choosing to stay out. Maybe they want to go to around maybe halfway and then pit, since there's really really the closest is Zach Nichols. He's coming to the pit lane from the 12th position. Been having an all right race so far, hanging around mid-pack, keeping the truck clean, hoping to have a good pit stop here. But yeah, we're getting closer to around halfway in the race. And right now the leaders, they're in a league of their own. You got Taylor Hurst, Brian Mercurio. They're running in their own zip code, along with around Kenny Humpy, Logan Helton. Even though Logan Helton made that mistake, he's brought his way back up to 4th. So his truck is really, really good, especially in traffic. He's been able to make all these passes. We'll see if Logan can maybe get back to the podium places, as we got some more people battling coming out the pits here.
Cole Hooper just put the fastest lap down in the session with a 1:26.352. So speed starting to find its way here. As the track temp, it's sitting there. I don't know how to read Celsius, but it seems good. 27.69 degrees Celsius is the ambient, with 43.33 degrees Celsius is your track temp. So
watch out!
Driver in front of him goes off the racetrack, and there you go. Air temp, track temp is 110. So a lot of slickness around here. The KC Kaufman creation weather conditions there. We'll see who that was who went off the racetrack. As here comes Brady, and also
Eddie Kerner.
Eddie Kerner finds his way on there with the neonism paint scheme. Also here comes that's Noah Bitts. And Venable are in as well, and there's the driver who is off, Nexus Esport number 12 machine. It's not a good start there. There goes Himmel. He's in his pit stall as well.
Mills in his pit stall right now too. Everybody is just all over the racetrack right now, all the way from Taylor Hurst in lead, 3 wide there off turn number 1. Boys, you cannot do that.
Kenny Brady here's this. Yeah, we see Boyd Hogan. We saw how early he pitted, and look at this track position he's trying to gain. He's now racing with Kenny Brady, excuse me, who are racing in the top 5. Kenny's going to be a little bit better here on the fresh tires, but look at all the track position Boyd's going to gain out of this if he can fend these guys off. He's going to gain a lot of spots here.
Be interested to see Jason if he can make that spot up, if he's able to keep the track position that he got from going out here and putting just a little bit fresher tires on than everybody else early on in this. There's Eddie Kerner going to go to the outside. Now he's going to get the driver's preferred line there. But Jason, so far so good, as here comes Logan Helton from the 4th place position.
Yeah, Logan Helton in that number 12 machine. He's going to...
Matthews Wax in the pits too.
Yeah, and all the drivers too. Matthews Wax in the pits now. I'm expecting other drivers to probably come around here and probably hit pit road right after the final turn, off turn number 12 through the carousel. You see Matthews Wack, he's bringing that number 18 Kyle Busch Intersafe Batteries throwback machine. He's going to bring it into pit road. And you see Logan Helton sitting there in the 63. He's getting his 4 tires. You see Roast Gems Coffee on Silverado. He's off and away. So, I mean, there's pit strategy here, Dan, that's all over the place. The question is, who is going to have the best run to the finish here?
For sure, as we're going to look at, let's see, it looks like 3 wide here going down into the keyhole. That's not going to be good, especially if you're Logan Helton on the very outside. Keep it clean, boys. Oh, a little bit of rubbing. We're still going to be 3 wide off the keyhole. Logan Helton trying to hang on, wanting to really clear these guys. We'll race with Jesse Kaplan right there. He really needs to get around these guys now, because he's got the fresh tires and he wants to try to make some inroads, maybe on Kenny Humpy and maybe on these leaders, because Logan, I think, was only a second behind Kenny Humpy when he came to the pit, so this is his chance to jump him right here. And if I'm Kenny Humpy, I need to pit now, because I'm seeing all this traffic, or I don't know if his spotters relaying information about what traffic he's going to get in, as Taylor Hurst, our race leader, is on pit road, and so is Brian Mercurio.
Top 2 come in. We'll wait to see if Kenny Humpy comes in as well. And
Brian LaPrade is in.
Brian LaPrade comes in. We'll see if Seth DeMerchant comes in. He'll be the next person on this one. Yep, there goes DeMerchant. You still got Jackson Crowder that needs to make a pit stop as well. So we'll see if the 31 machine comes in this time by.
Oh, Seth, he missed that. He missed his pit bot.
Oh, and Seth missed it. He's going to drop some. He's going to drop some time there. So it puts Humpy as the leader. Hurst is going to come out in second. So no surprise there.
Yeah, let's watch you guys come out of the pit. Taylor Hurst has already left the pit lane. Let's watch Brian Mercurio come out of the pit lane. He looks to be all clear around everybody else, and he'll settle back in line. But Brian LaPrade, he's going to drop back a couple of spots for these guys on fresher tires. But yeah, it's just now the interesting part is you're back in a little bit of traffic. Can you use your fresh tires to get back by around everybody?
Got a comment out in the chat. What happened between Cole Hooper and Boyd Hogan a lap ago? We'll try to hunt that replay down and see what happened there between Cole Hooper and Boyd Hogan. But new fastest lap just got set down by the number 19 of Noah Betts, who's a 126.342, or the driver in the 19 machine. It shows 6 on your screen, but he's the 19 based off of the iRating that he has here. As now he is right behind the Boyd Hogan machine. As here comes the 5 of Kenny Humpy. He's going to come down in that Chevy Silverado, and Jason, he held out as long as he could. He's got a 16-second lead. If he doesn't make any mistakes, he might be able to gain a couple spots.
I mean, with somebody who's been having issues coming off the pit lane or coming into pit lane, it's going to be close. But right now, he's just about to take on his left side tires right here, and he's going to drop the jack virtually and drive out of his pit box in that number 5.
He's about to lose a ton.
7th. Oh yeah, he's going to lose a 10th. But I guarantee you, once he gets to the keyhole here, he's probably going to be more than likely right in the top 10 or lose it just outside possibly. But he's actually going to be strong. 7th place right there coming out, and now, you know, the tires, they're cold, yeah, but I mean, he's got that track position right now that he wanted. So coming in, you know, staying out a little bit later, I think it probably, oh, he's in the grass a little bit there, out of the keyhole. That's going to maybe lose him a little bit of time. That's going to enable Noah Betts behind him, and also Brian LaPrade to gain on him as they head into turn 4, China Beach hard braking zone, all the way down into low gear almost. And now they're going to start to head uphill towards the S's into 6. But probably a good call for Kenny Humpy in that number 5 machine.
Well, Dan, you talked about pit strategy coming into play. It really didn't shake up a whole lot, other than missed pit stops, missing the box, dropping, going too far back, going too far forward. You see Michael Venable right there having just a little bit of an issue on that machine with Hooper right in front of him. But you talked about this, and now we have Hurst setting the fastest lap now. Oh, Noah Betts is off the course.
Noah Betts running, I think, was in the 8th position right in front of Brian LaPrade. Well, we'll go back. I don't know if he caught a pitch of grass too. Well, take a look at the replay here. But yeah, riding in the 8th position, looked good on that pitch strategy. Gained a couple spots, got ahead of Briar in the pitch sequence. And I don't know if he just made a mistake here as he's going through the last corner. Just navigating. Oh, I think. Well, him and Briar had issues. There might have been a little bit of contact right there. I hope we had a better angle of that, but I think Briar might have had a little, or he got a little help from Briar LaPrade, but definitely unfortunate for both of them. Noah Betts losing, he got the worst end of the stick there, but Briar LaPrade, he didn't really have a good time with that either. We're going to look from high above. And just, yeah, Briar, he got through the little kink right there a lot better than Noah Betts. And oh yeah, he gave him a little bit of a shot there. And then he just was going so fast in the corner, he's going to do anything, and then the tire barrier is going to give him a lot of damage and definitely going to affect the rest of his race.
Well, and that he falls back to the 14th position for the fans of the number 19 of Noah Betts. That right there is where he's going to settle in for the time being. Take a look right there. The McConey setup entry here for the 10 of Taylor Hurst, just set the fastest lap of the race with a 126.165. And I know fastest lap doesn't necessarily mean a thing, but you're leading Brian Mercurio by 3.5 seconds here on this road course. Not too bad of a start here. If you take a look at Jack Coyne, who's sitting in the 7th place position, he's trying to gain a couple spots. He's got Brian LaPrade right behind him. Kenny Humpy right front as well. And well, for the 5 machinist, here comes Chris Wetz. He's going to come down. Jason, this has been a pretty entertaining road race.
Absolutely, and strategy obviously all over the place right now. You see Chris Wetz, he is into his box right now. Now we're taking a jump up to Cole Hooper, who is in a battle with Michael Venable as they come into China Beach. Michael hard on the brakes, trying to make an opportunity to pass the 17 machine right there as they head up to turn number 5, uphill battle. Then a quick descent down to turn 6 before that right-hander right there. And then they're going to head through the S's over the little hump right here, through the bridge, and then they're going to be coming through probably which been the most difficult part of the race, because you've seen a lot of guys there, Dan. They've kind of dipped the right sides into the grass. Oh, and the 96 point Hogan off course right now. That looks to be right in turn 9 before Thunder Valley. Going to take a look at the replay here.
Boyd Hogan.
Oh my goodness, what happened here?
Boyd Hogan, who got up to the top 10 through the pit cycles. He pitted really early, and it looks like he was looking pretty good. And then, yeah, the same thing again. That's happened with so many guys. And oh, he went way off, backs it right into the tires. And he actually looks okay, but the problem is that's all the time that he gained through that pit cycle. It's all down the drain, and now he's back outside the top 30 right now.
Drop week's going to be important right there. Just look at Coyne just got passed by Briar LaPrade. That puts LaPrade, who raced last season in the Coke season or in the Coke Series for Junior Motorsports, and now he's here trying to work his way back up to go up there. And I mean, I know this is early in round 2, and I know this is early in the Coke Series as well. But somebody has to replace Michael Conti. One of these drivers is going to replace somebody who has been a key staple in the Coke Series for some time. Somebody has to fill his shoes. So you got to think of all the drivers that are going to go around here and either retire or transition to a different role in whatever role they want to do, and they step away from the Coke Series. There's a lot of great seats going to be open and available, and one of these drivers is going to be in a very good position in a winning car next year, Jason, and it could be Eddie Kerner.
Yeah, winning car, winning setups, you never know. And I tell you what, those teams right now, they're watching these races. They're watching Split 1, they're watching Split 2 for sure, trying to see who the next best e-racer is here in the sim. So, I mean, it could be Taylor Hurst, it could be Kenny Brady, it could be Briar LaPrade again, it could be Eddie Kerner, it could be Jackson Crowder. You never know. I mean, there's just so much great talent here. But I wanted to point out a thing here. We talk about talent, and we've seen a lot of guys, Dan, getting off, dipping those right sides, and funny enough, right as I said that, I guess somewhat of a commentator's curse on Boyd Hogan's part for my bad. So sorry, Boyd, if you do go back and watch this broadcast. Dan, we've been seeing a lot of guys dipping their right sides right over the hill, past turn 7 into turn 8, as you're seeing Noah Bitts right now in that number 19 machine. Right when you're going to get through this bridge, you're going to see them go over, or not over this bridge, but underneath this bridge. And then coming up, there's going to be like a little hill right there, kind of a blind spot. You can't really see. You're seeing right there, the 19, he dipped those right sides into the dirt, and that ultimately caused Boyd Hogan to get loose, dip those left sides out in the grass, go offline, and spin out. And Dan, that leads to my question. A, is that really a common spot for guys that have issues here at Mid-Ohio? And B, what do you think probably the hardest part on this 15-turn course is?
Oh, for sure. I had many troubles with that corner when I was getting ready for this race last year, but that is a full commitment corner in my opinion. Like, if you're going to make up time, especially that section of the racetrack, you got to fully commit, get out as much speed as you can, carry as much speed without obviously dipping your left side in the grass. And some people have overstepped the mark just a little bit. And as we see, I've noticed Boyd Hogan is actually retired from the race. He's left the server, so that's going to be the drop week for Boyd Hogan, and he's got to pull out some miracles just like he did in round 1. I don't know if you remember this, Terry, but we remember Boyd Hogan had a Game 7 moment down at the last race of Charlotte in round 1, who he was able to point his way when a lot of people thought he wasn't going to make it in. He made it in at the very last second, so he's going to probably do something like that again if he's going to make it back to contender for the second year in a row.
Yeah, pretty sure we wrote him off. I don't know who that commentator Terry Radford is, but I'm almost positive he wrote him off. But he survived to live another round, just like Ray Alfala. He puts himself here, and a quick update from Split 1. Koshewich leads Daniel Buttafuoco by 3.5 seconds over Philip, Pfeffer, and Scott. Is your top 5 over there? That's important to note because some of those names we're going to see next week. They're going to come over here in the snake split. You don't necessarily know which one they're going to be in. We could have Ray Alfalo for every single one of the broadcasts here for split 2, or we could flip-flop and it just goes back and forth. It just depends on how the split works as it goes. So we'll see next week who comes. Oh, and Hunter Johnson's off in the number 29.
Oh. That's pretty much the same. That's pretty much the same spot we saw him earlier. Because I remember that's the same. We didn't know who went off earlier in that same paint scheme, but that was actually Hunter Johnson, and this, I guess, the second time he's been off. I don't know if he got his left sides off in the dirt, leading down to turn number 4, because we've seen Jack and Crowder have the same issue too. As we go down into turn number 4, looking pretty good through here, and just misses breaking point. Down into trying to beat.
Just missed it, and into the gravel he goes. Down to 31st position, but an interesting point from last season, Jason. I don't want to bring up old news, but you talked about a lot of teams we're watching. As we take a look right here at Caden Rush, he's fighting along here with Lukowski. But social media for a lot of these drivers, and it goes for the Coke Series. This is for Dan as well. It's so important to keep yourself intact all the way through this round, because your invite is based off of all the body of work together, whether it's social media, whether it is your actions that could be detrimental to the sport of eNASCAR, or how you carry yourself for the sport ahead, because teams look at all of that together before they give you a ride. It's going to be interesting to see, does everybody this season get the invite to go to Contender to race it out if they earn an opportunity here?
I mean, honestly, we've seen issues in the past. Some guys, they're either, just a little bit shaky. Sometimes, they might not be favored by a lot of people. It is what it is. But, social media is a great way to really put yourself out there. And not only do some of these teams, when you do get to the Coke Series, we could be looking at a lot of Coke guys in the future here for next year, so, maybe it's Matthew Zwack, maybe it's Jack Point, Kenny Brady, Taylor Hirsch, you never know. These teams that are going to be searching for their next driver look at their social medias, they look at the way that they perform on track, and besides being, performing well on track, they look at your social media. They're like, oh, this guy's a fun guy. A lot of people like him. Let's sign him. So, your social media presence is a huge part. We've obviously seen just so many different social media platforms that so many people are on nowadays. I mean, look at Meta with Instagram. They just released Threads last night, and already so many people have signed up for it. A new platform to promote your series, your league, your team, your driver, whoever it is here, whether it be real life, whether it be sim racing. There's so many different platforms to put yourself out there on and show who you are as a person. And not only just show yourself as a person, but show your story. And everybody loves a good story.
Well, and Dan, and I'll come to you on it as we take a look at the battle for 10th with Cole Hooper, who's sitting here occupying that number 7 machine. But it's a big thing for you drivers, and I'm not sure what the policy is over at Joe Gibbs Racing for the eNASCAR Series. Just take a look at Matthew Zwack. He's under attack from Noah Benz, who was off the course just a little while ago. They go side by side right here, and Zwack's going to try to hold it here. He's going to get clear, but for how long can he get clear? Oh, he crosses him to go down below. He's going to be at a driver's right, and that's going to put Noah Benz right there in the 11th place position. Crossover for Zwack. Contact. Saved it.
What a move. What a crossover.
Matthew Zwack, he's got he's got some steel, I tell you that much. He was good in the college series to watch. But I'll go to the social media thing again as well. As Joe Gibbs Racing, I'm sure they have a very, I wouldn't say strict social media presence, but you got a line. There's a line you got to walk.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a certain line, but I mean, Joe, I don't know if you've seen like a lot of JGR's Instagram stuff. They do a lot of cool like behind the scenes stuff at the track, at the shop, and I was very fortunate to tour the JGR shop a couple of weeks ago when we got James Holzer off the track here at looks like on turn 7, turn 8, in that same section. We'll have to go back and see what happened there. But once again, being another issue. But yeah, I was very fortunate to tour the JGR shop when I was in Charlotte for the 600 a couple weekends ago. Like the people over there at JGR, Boris, and everyone over there, they're really good to me. Love getting to represent them in the eNASCAR series, and hopefully I can keep doing it for years to come. As whatever the limit of contact right there, it wasn't no grass being evil this time. It was just unfortunate contact. But James Holter being the one that got the worst end of the deal right there. But yeah, go back to what I was saying, Terry. Not just the eNASCAR teams are watching, but just like guys at iRacing in general too, because there have been a few people, like I'll take Kenny Brady for example. He qualified, or he got all the way to the Contender Series last year, but he wasn't accepted to the Contender Series because of past incidents that he's had on track and on the iRacing service. That's something you got to think about too. Like, you can't be a total, you know what, I'm not going to say it on air, obviously, but you got to conduct yourself well, not just on social media, but on the iRacing service too, because it's not just like the eNASCAR teams that are watching, it's like how you even get to the series is through the iRacing officials, like guys like Tyler Hudson and all those guys. So those are people that you got to watch out for too if you want to make it to the highest level.
I think we all understood where you were going with it. I was there, but man, that's part of the night. If you want to keep up to date with all of the news from the world of eNASCAR, scan right there on the QR code, sign up today. And if you're a person who's watching this and you don't know what iRacing is, you just scroll through YouTube and, wow, why did this FTN pop up? Why did LSR TV pop up? Well, it's a great opportunity. You see the awesome physics and dynamics of the iRacing world. iRacing.com. 40% off new memberships. Put yourself in the portal of the greatest simulator in the world today at iRacing.com. You might be racing for $300,000 one day. You just never know how you do it. A cool iRacing thing, we just had a massive update. Tires for Dirt was a big topic of discussion. You can catch the World of Outlaws late model on Monday night. It's a 10-week series that starts July 10th at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then you can catch the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRace Series where Daniel Falkenham will be racing around the Nashville Super Speedway. Pre-race starts at 8:30, takes you all the way up from countdown to green to the green flag at 9 Eastern on eNASCAR.live, twitch.tv/iRacing, YouTube with iRacing. You can watch it on NASCAR's Twitch. You can watch it on wherever you get your iRacing fix setups. We got 13 laps to go. Taylor Hurst, Brian Mercurio, Logan Helton, your top three. Nothing's really shaken up here. Just a couple drivers off track, Jason, but well, we got 13 laps to go to potentially flip this upside down.
Tell you what, Taylor Hurst has basically been what they call here on the road courses on iRacing as an alien in a sense. Somebody who comes in here and just performs like they're out of this world. Taylor Hurst has done just that pretty much tonight. Leading, I'm pretty sure he's led every single lap here tonight, and now he's got almost a 5.5 second gap, a little bit more between him and Brian Mercurio there in the number 1 machine. Logan Helton there in the 12th, he's third right now. That's your podium guys right now. And then you have the Kenny and Kenny show right now, 4th and 5th between Humpy and Brady. So all those guys top 5s, they've had solid nights tonight. You know, and I mean, that's what you got to have. We talked about it earlier on. As you're looking back at Matthew Zwack right now, the number 18, who made one heck of a save earlier on. They're making their way through 9 down into Thunder Valley, hitting 10 now. These guys are all single file. Matthew had a very good save earlier on after some contact there. Oh,
speaking of contact,
Vince is over and into the carousel, able to save it right in front of Seth the Merchant. Seth's going to get around him. The 6th, loosey-goosey there, out of turn 13. What a save by Noah Betts. Wonder if we can get a replay. I mean, Dan, what happened there heading through Thunder Valley and into the carousel?
Tell you what, speaking of contact, what we were mentioning about, we had a little bit right there. I don't know what went wrong here for Noah Betts. If he was just trying to move or something, or unless he just completely missed where he was braking. But that really did. I will say, Noah Betts, it has been a terrible, terrible second half of the race for him. And I think right there he just got a little loose because his tires all dirty, probably being in the marbles. But Yeah, what an awful second half of the race. Noah Bitts running comfortably in the top 10, and now he's fallen all the way back to 14th place. It's just, Noah Bitts, he just wants to get this race over with because it was looking promising to start, and now he's just trying to make sure he just keeps this thing on the track now.
Has not been fun for Noah Bitts. Since we had the pit stops, we come off the pit road, and he slid right off the racetrack, and now he's worked his way back to 14th is where he has fell in at this moment. He's 2 spots off where he qualified in 12th, but he had a very good game. You should take a look at Matthew Swag, who qualified 13th. He's up to 2nd. Seth the Merchant still making the run forward, 1 spot behind him, plus 11. That actually, I do believe, makes him our biggest mover, and it does. That is plus 11 there for the number 3 of Seth the Merchant, who, well, Jason, kind of wasn't expected to necessarily be that far in the back.
And Seth right now is doing one heck of a job. By the way, just want to point out, biggest mover of the race right now, plus 11, sitting there right now. And the second biggest mover, Trey Lapsevich there in the 32, he's plus 10 sitting in 21st. But Seth has had an up and down night, but I mean, sitting just shy of a top 10 right now. If Seth could probably make 2 more spots up, I'd consider that a win in Seth's point of view, because I mean, he came from 11 spots back from where he is now, and we talked about how valuable every position, every point matters here, especially in the second part of the Road to Pro qualifying series. This is round 2, man. Every point matters here more than ever now. See right now, looking underneath Matthew Zwack. Wow, what a pass, textbook pass right there. Matthew was able to give him the room, and Seth now makes it plus 12 from where he started just shy of the top 10. Now he's going to try to go run down Cole Hooper in the number 7 Ford F-150, heading through turn 9 to Thunder Valley. Seth has been very fast recently. He is about 6 to 7 tenths of a second faster than some of the guys just ahead of him, and he pitted on lap 20, so he has fresher tires than like Matthew Swack did by one lap earlier. And in front of him, Cole Hooper, lap 15, Michael Venable, lap 18, Jack Coyne, lap 16. I think with the run that Seth the Merchant's having right now, Terry, he might just be able to capture a top 10, if not maybe even further up in the running order here as this race goes on.
Well, as we come to 10 laps to go here, I want to remind everybody that's watching on LSR TV and FTN, this is where you can catch Split 2. You have 2 different options to watch it. Double the opportunities to catch Split number 2 here. You can catch Split 1 on FTF. It's twitch.tv/FTF. Go pay attention to what they're doing there, because those drivers are going to be here potentially next week or in 2 weeks, and then these drivers could potentially be over there in 2 weeks. So keep up with all of the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying iRacing series on both channels. You can catch them just like I am. One on my cell phone, one on my laptop, trying to keep up with every single one of them. As you see Jackson Crowder right here having just a little bit of a battle here with Mr. Rush in the 28. Good wrench machine, and there he goes to the inside to driver's right. It's interesting, Dan, to try to find places around here to make that pass happen.
Yeah, but I've been seeing a lot of these drivers have been using different places to pass where I didn't think there would be places to pass. So all the drivers are making so much use of any piece of real estate that they can make work. So props to these drivers for making it work. But yeah, like we were talking about, we got 2 different splits that are split by iRating. Of course, this week's a little bit different because this week's splits were decided by road iRating. It'll be back to oval iRating next 2 weeks at Pocono. So yeah, like a lot of people we see here tonight, we may see again in 2 weeks. We'll probably have a whole different group of drivers here in 2 weeks. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, 9 to go, and we still got a big old battle as Seth the Merchant has made his way around Noah Bitts, and he is into the top 10, guys.
Yeah, you see right here, there's Hooper, Schwack, you have Wright, you have Bitts, all fighting in this line right here to get an 11th place position, potentially. This race is not over. It's way too early to call. We appreciate all the people who voted in our poll out there. Currently, they asked 20 to go, who wins this race? 45% of you said Taylor Hurst. Well, 23% was the second highest. It says anyone else. So 23% of our fans that are watching seems to think that Taylor Hurst is going to choke this away at some point in time, and Brian Mercurio might win this, or Logan Helton might win this. It's a 5-second gap between the top two. It is a half a truck length here for the 11th place position as Hooper there in the 7s trying to hold off Schwack. But, oh, Jason. Oh, there's full contact made there.
Out there going through turn 13. That is a very tight corner getting out of the carousel. In the 17, he kind of tried to slam the door right there. And you see Schwack, he is trying everything almost onto the rumble strips there through turn 1, trying to get underneath the 7 of Cole Hooper. Now they're going to head down the straightaway all the way to turn number 2, the keyhole. And everybody hard on the brakes. The 17 gets the bumper. The 18 gets a little loose from the curb right there. And out of turn number 2, down the back straightaway. This is going to be another passing opportunity for Matthew Schwack in the 18 as they head down to China Beach here, Dan. Everything is getting super, super aggressive late in this race. And Brad Wright right behind Matthew Schwack. He's on attack mode as well as Noah Bitts.
Yeah, it's all starting to heat up now. As I've been saying so many races, business has been picking up here. And we saw a little bit of contact down in turn 12, turn 13. We saw a couple of years ago, Regan Smith put the bumper to Alex Tagliani there in the very last corner to win the Xfinity race here in 2015. So we may have to see one of those again, but it's only for an 11th place. Like, these guys are trying to get all of the spots they can because points matter so much. The points format for this is a little different from what we had in round 1. So essentially, every position you get is a point now. So all these drivers trying to get every single point they can. Let's see if Schwack does it again. He's not close enough this time, but he's still got 7 more laps to try to set up a run here.
Interesting points you bring up right there. Points matter. You have to point your way or go out and do what Taylor Hurst has done tonight, which has been start on the pole, check. Lead all the laps, big check as he got loose right there. He's starting to go into lap traffic. But all the boxes Taylor Hurst has checked here tonight with 7 laps to go. There's a great opportunity that the driver of the number 10 McConey setup shop machine is going to not necessarily punch his ticket into the next round, but it looks really good if we're able to keep if he's able to keep the momentum that he had from this race going into Pocono in 2 weeks, which is another road course-esque race in the Tricky Triangle. But he's going to come to 6 to go right here. It's looked really good. He has a very comfortable gap of 5 seconds on the dot. So Jason, all he has to do is just ride. Don't be crazy.
Can't wait for Pocono in a couple weeks. I've actually never called an iRacing event at Pocono yet, which is kind of funny because I think that Dover is my home track, but actually no, Dover's about 2.5 hours away from me. Pocono is my closest track, 2 hours away. So I will actually be there for the whole race weekend for Pocono. I cannot wait for that event. I cannot wait for that weekend. One of my favorite weekends of the year. But I mean, those guys are going to be in for a handful when we go to Pocono on July 20th. Obviously, all 3 corners are different. Milwaukee Mile, Old Trenton, New Jersey. So it's going to be interesting to see. But you're seeing a lot of guys starting to be super, super aggressive still. And with just 6 laps to go, Taylor Hurst has been putting a whooping on the field all night. But you got to think to yourself, Dan, one mistake, and he could just have that win go out the window. So he has to be calm, cool, and collective here for these next 5.5 laps.
Absolutely. Now, if we can go back to the battle for, I think, P11 or so, Brad Wright has actually made his way around Matthew Schwack for, P12 as Cole Hooper has pulled away from this little group here. But Brad Wright has now made a gain on Matthew Schwack for a P12. And now Matthew Schwack back into the hands of, once again, Noah Bitts. If we're going to see a little more action between these two before this race is all said and done.
That's +6 for Brad Wright, and the number 25 Toyota Tundra puts him up the field just a little bit, up to the 12th place position. But here's Noah Bitts, Matthew Schwack fighting it out. For Bitts, who started 12th, and for Schwack, who started 13th, kind of where they've been majority of the second half of this race, as I'll say, because until the pit stops, we thought Noah Bitts was going to be a very good top 10 contender. And then it has fallen off since then. We got 5 laps to go here. And for a lot of these drivers, they're ready to get put out of their misery here. This road course stuff, maybe not for them. They're ready to go to a non-traditional oval, or a triangle, you would say. The tricky one in Pennsylvania, where, well, it might be a good time to be a musician fan, or it could be a bad time to be an instrument. Just depends on how these drivers feel about it, but I know Pocono's going to be fun. Never been a big fan of the racetrack, but there's one of these drivers in here that's going to come out there and win round 2. A couple notable names so far in here that's done a wonderful job. Seth Merchant in 10th, up 13 spots. Kenny Brady has stayed in 5th. He's in a battle with Eddie Kerner right here. Kerner's lost 2 spots. He started 4th, Jason, and he stayed inside this top 6 all race long. Hasn't necessarily put a wheel out of place, had a little bit of an issue, but Eddie Kerner trying to get a top 5. He's right on the back bumper of Kenny Brady in the number 2 machine. Could be a pretty solid night for him.
Yeah, we talk about 2 points mean absolutely everything, and I bet your bottom dollar Kenny Brady wants every point that he can get here, every position. I actually was down in Charlotte, and I actually stayed with Kenny. We went to the Charlotte race weekend together, and after he finished round 1 of Road to Pro, he just said, man, Jason, I just want to win one of these things. He's actually super loose. Keep digging, Kenny. He's doing a great job right now, and Eddie Kerner's right on his bumper trying to look for a passing opportunity around him. And I said, Kenny, man, you know, you got to really keep your head up. You got to keep on going and digging. He says, I just want to win one of these things, man. I've been so close. And he's also been so consistent. And I told him that. I said, but, buddy, you got to realize consistency is key. And having a top 5 run here tonight, possibly top 6, if Eddie Kerner just, in fact, does get around him. This is everything that Kenny's looking for. And it's also what most of these drivers are looking for, like Brian Mercurio. It might not be a win tonight, but second is obviously an absolute win because you never know where you're going to finish these next few races. So drivers like Kenny Brady, like Eddie Kerner, Brian LaPrade, Kenny Humpy, etc., these great top 5, top 10 finishes is everything that they want if they want to be in that top 20 come end of Homestead here in a few months.
Well,
sorry, right there.
Oh, I was going to ask you a random question. So put yourself in this position here. You're sitting first. You're sitting second. You're back here with Eddie Kerner and Kenny Brady. I know points are a big deal, but how hard do you push it if you're Eddie Kerner? Do you put yourself in a bad position with the number 2 of Kenny Brady to potentially wreck both of you? Or do you just kind of ride it out and wait for not a last-ditch effort, but you wait for a cleaner pass to get around him?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, where you're running right now, you're still getting some good points. Remember, the goal of this round is to make sure you're top 20 in the points after 7 races. So where these guys are running right now, they're going to leave Mid-Ohio top 20 in the points. So right now, if I'm Eddie, keep going, go as hard as you can without trying to like ruffle any feathers, because it looks like he's got a good run right here. He's going to have the draft on this long straightaway. Maybe then make a move down to China Beach if he's close enough. But try not to press the issue too much if you're going to end up wrecking the guy, because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, especially at this part of the qualifying series. As he's going to look underneath hard on the binders, and he's going to settle back in line as they're going to continue to turns 4, 5, 6, 7 down to the dreaded turn 7, turn 8 area. See if he can force Kenny into a mistake. But I've known Kenny. I've raced him for quite a while, but I know he ain't going to make any mistakes. He's going to keep that truck, place his truck right where it needs to be, defend really well. We'll see his next big opportunity might be down here in turn 13 at the last corner. We'll see what happens as we're as these guys are coming to 3 to go, I should say.
Coming to 2 to go this time.
Or, sorry, 2 to go, excuse me.
Taylor Hurst crosses the start-finish line. He's got 2 lap trucks that he's going to catch, and they're very respectful. I know these 2 drivers, very respectful. They're going to move out of the way. They're not going to put themselves in a bad position. But for Taylor Hurst, it has been a whale of a night. Has led, oh my gosh, has led all of it. He has led it from start to finish under the green flag conditions, not in a pit cycle. I'll say that for anybody who wants to call me out and fact check me. That is not in a pit cycle. He has led every green flag lap here tonight. Going through the final couple corners here with these lap trucks in the way. Top 10 from here, top 10 from split 1 are your top 20. So it'll be good to see what the points shake up like for the drivers who will be outside of it. A little bad nights for a couple drivers, but an opportunity for improvement into the next race at Pocono on July 20th. But Jason Rockefeller, it has been set sail for the driver of the number 10 of Taylor Hurst, Mid-Ohio. Probably couldn't have came soon enough for him.
But, you know, you got to remember, these two in front of him could make a mistake. Brian Mercurio has cut that gap down by almost about a second now as Taylor Hurst takes the white flag. 1 lap to go here in race number 1 of round 2 for the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series. And these guys are going to get out of the way. You see the 17 move out of the way right there. So Brian just got to navigate a few more corners, and he's going to come home race 1 winner of round 2. Brian's cut the gap down to 3.6 seconds. Obviously, he's going to need, you know, Taylor to make a mistake or these guys to really hold him up. But, I mean, what a drive, Dan, for Taylor Hurst here tonight. What a drive. Flag to flag pretty much here. That's if he gets around here, which he's probably going to. Knock on wood. Don't want to give the commentators curse. But, Dan, Taylor has been on the binders tonight. He has had the fastest truck in the field, and he has the best lap.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not surprised. We saw he was in split 2. He was on our coverage for so many races in round 1. We saw how fast, won a couple races down in split 2 for our broadcast coverage. It doesn't surprise me to see him this fast. He's a former Coke Series driver himself. He got dropped out last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to make it right back to where he belongs. It's been a great way to kick off round 1 for Taylor Hurst, and a lot of nights I will hopefully get to talk to him at the end of the night. But great run for Taylor Hurst as he's coming around the final corner. It's coming to take the checkered flag, Terry.
Here he comes, final couple corners for Taylor Hurst. It has been an absolute dominating performance here for the number 10 through the final corner. Taylor Hurst, round 1 of eNASCAR qualifying series. He wins at Mid-Ohio. And for the people, I know we're watching this one, but Daniel Buttafuoco and Kosowicz just had one of the greatest battles I've ever seen in eNASCAR. A pass on the last lap for split 1. Daniel Buttafuoco wins it with Kosowicz finishing second. You see Kenny Brady coming through right here for a top 5 run. I had to mention that because, well, they were off the race course, on the race course, swapping it left and right. Lap traffic got in the way there. It was an incredible finish for the drivers over there in split 1, but an amazing drive for the 10 machine of Taylor Hurst. Jason, he didn't put a wheel wrong all night long.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I mean, he was in a zip code of his own, finishes 3.05 seconds ahead of Brian Mercurio. You see him drifting right there around 4 and 5. Taylor Hurst, he's channeling his inner drifting driver right now. Oh, he's going to get into the grass a little bit, but he's able to save it. I think he's going to drift all the way down to the front straightaway here, probably, Dan. But Taylor Hurst, he put on a barn burner tonight for probably just himself. He was probably yawning behind the wheel, wondering when this is going to end. But, I mean, hey, he still had a little bit of pressure, lap traffic around him. Brian Mercurio, he was back by more than 5, almost 6 seconds. Cut that down by 2.5, 3 seconds. So it just goes to show you that it's not over until it's over. And, wow, I cannot believe that Taylor's doing this good of a job drifting because I sure as heck could not do that. But, Dan,
definitely,
what a drive by Taylor Hurst tonight.
Yeah, definitely don't got any rubber left on these sides. We've had a little bit of beef after the race. Kaner Rush is not happy with somebody. So I don't know what went down there early or last few laps. But we've had a little bit of beef after this race. I don't know what is going on. But anyway, Taylor Hurst burning it down, deservedly so. Fastest truck of the race, started on pole, pretty much led every single lap, went on to win the race, with the fastest lap as well. I mean, if we had a grand slam, then that would be it right there. Completing literally every single category, top of the board, and hopefully we'll be able to talk with these guys here in just a minute.
We'll look at our unofficial official race results here. Taylor Hurst getting the win. Brian Mercurio in second. Logan Helton, Kenny Humpy, Kenny Brady, Eddie Kerner, Briar LaPrade, Jack Coyne, Michael Venable, and your biggest mover up 13 positions to a top 10, Seth DeMerchant, Jason.
20 right here. We got 11th. Cole Hooper there in the 7th. 12th. Noah Bitts in the 19th. 13th. Matthew Zwack, who was absolutely digging all night long. A lot of incidents for him. He was able to come home top 15. Mitchell Hunt, 14th. Dominic Lukomsky there comes home 15th. Brad Wright, 16th. Zach Nichols comes home 17th. Caden Rush, 18th there in the 28 machine. Jackson Crowder, after a tough night for somebody who was so fast in round 1. Hopefully he'll be able to rebound when we go to Pocono in a couple of weeks. He'll finish 19th. And then Timmy Pacioli finishes in the 20th position, Terry.
You got the hard names. I have the Have the easier names.
These are so much harder.
Trey Lapovich finished in 21st. Jesse Kaplan in 22nd. That's Brandon Pipgrass. Hunter Gio Gagan or Geigen? Hunter Gia Geigen or Hagen. Yeah, I'll go either way. Ray Alfalla, John Jenkins, Chris Wentz, Brendan Meal, James Holster, and Hunter O. Johnson, your top 30. Rounding out the rest of your field, Matthew Bear, Matt Kemp, and Boyd Hogan. I tell you what, we have P2. That's Brian Mercurio. We have our winner. Never mind. We'll grab our race winner, Taylor Hurst. Taylor Hurst, congratulations on your win, and you did it in dominating fashion. What a way to start round 2 of the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying Series. Man, that setup was fast.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. The guys are locked down, and Area 51 definitely put this thing together, and our long run was crazy after 10 laps or so. We bouncing off the track for about 5 or 6 laps, and our rear grip was just crazy the whole run. So yeah, thanks to those guys, especially Agno Phillip, for working on this thing every week with me. So yeah, I'm glad to be talking to you guys this early, though. It's it feels good.
So the Agno Phillip, the RSR winner and Cup Series champion last season, out here building setups.
Yeah, we got a technical alliance with those boys, and I'll tell you what, he knows what he's doing on these things, and he's taught me a lot about the truck itself. You know, I've been working with the Cup car for years, but he's taught me a lot about the truck, and we've been able to put our knowledge together, and we've been pretty fast this year. So.
Well, you talk about being very fast, a very diverse second round here with IRP. We're going to have some dirt. We got Pocono next week. Where do you see yourself? I know you don't want to necessarily call your shot, potentially jinx yourself, but do you see this team going into contender with a strong possibility of making Coke next season?
Yeah, for sure, man. We just got to, qualifying is really important. We got to qualify well and just put the races together and not make any mistakes and know who you're racing around and stuff, just it's I think we got a pretty good shot at it this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, thank all those people that put that truck here on the racetrack, and congratulations on this win.
Absolutely, man. Big thanks to Jeff McConey and McConey Setup Shop, man. They put their logo on my truck for this season, and I do a little setup work for the Cup car for McConey Setup Shop, and we've been putting together some pretty good pieces for the public this year, so you can check them out. I know our B car and our truck stuff is pretty good too, so I've been seeing a lot of posts about our guys winning in our McConey stuff, so shout out to them and Lockdown Racing and, like I said, Area 51 and those guys over there, man.
Well, congratulations on P number 1. That's the driver of the McConey Setup Shop machine, who is the official setup shop of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. And, well, we got Brian Mercurio. He's right here, and he's going to stand by with Jason Rockefeller.
Mercurio, man, coming home P2 tonight, 3.05 seconds back, man. What else did you need to try to catch Taylor Hurst, who was pretty much in a zip code of his own all night long?
I think if I convinced one of my crew members to go over to the local Porsche dealership and get one of those big Porsche GT3 wings and bolt it on the back of my pit stop, I think that was probably the only way I would have caught Taylor. He was just, it's just like right out of the pits, the first few laps, the start of the race, he had the clean air, so it's easy for him. You could just kind of coast away. You don't really have to worry about pressure from behind. I was going at it with Helton for a little bit. Actually, I know Taylor did have a little bit of pressure from Logan, but after about 10 laps, he just kind of pulled away until pit stops, and then once we cycled through pit stops again, he was just really fast. So unless I had like F1 Pirelli Hypersofts or about 1,000 pounds more downforce, I don't think I would have had anything for him tonight.
Well, I tell you what, I don't think we could put that Porsche wing on the back because you will not pass technical inspection, my friend. But obviously, you come off a second-place finish, and obviously this is a very vast, different variety of tracks here for round 2 of Road to Pro. But let's just focus on a couple weeks here, July 20th at Pocono. Kind of like a road course if you think about it. It's not right turns, all left. They call it the tricky triangle. turns based off of the Milwaukee Mile, Old Trenton Speedway, and also the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Those 3 corners are all different, man. Kind of how a road course is. How do you see yourself tackling the Tricky Triangle on July 20th?
I know from last year, the race looked definitely a lot of pack racing, a lot of 2x2 side-by-side. I was a part of the Coke race last year, and that was 2x2, 3x3 for pretty much every restart that we had. So I know just with how competitive people are and how equal things are going to be, how much of the draft is an equalizer, it's going to be really, really tough the first couple laps. I'm not really too sure how it's going to work on the long run, but being from Jersey, Pocono's my home track, so I always like to take pride, try to do well there. Pocono was the first time last year for the Coke Series race, the first time I got to race there in any eNASCAR series or anything, and I did all right, so really excited to see Pocono on the schedule again. Like I said, always like to take pride. It's my home track. Really want to do well there. So super happy, though, banking second place points in the first race. Absolute. Aside from a win, that was the only thing that could have been better. But I was expecting to walk out of here with a top 5, top 10. So not only that, but to be on the podium, absolutely, I'll take the points. Great way to start off the round, and gives me a lot of wiggle room later on in case something happens.
Well, being somebody from Monmouth County, New Jersey, man, and I absolutely love Pocono. Can't wait to be there in person a couple weeks. Can't wait to see you on the track tackling the Tricky Triangle. See, it's even tricky to pronounce the phrase. The Tricky Triangle on July 20th. That's Brian Mercurio, driver of the number 1 machine. Brian, we will see you in just a couple weeks' time from the Tricky Triangle, my friend.
Appreciate you guys. Just real quick, if you don't mind, I just want to give some plugs here real quick to everybody who helped out, all the guys over at Legacy Esports who put this truck together, Boyd, Pfeffer, Dallas, Timmy, everybody who had a hand in trying to work on this setup over the last month and change since round 1 ended. Really been, we kind of had some stuff thrown away with the build change a few weeks ago, so kind of getting everything optimized. They did a hell of a job, and they make my life a hell of a lot easier with this kind of stuff. So got to give a big thank you to them, all the partners who support Legacy, Blackstone Management, all the partners that we're able to represent over at Legacy Esports on all our trucks. So big shout out to them, everybody who worked on the setup. You guys put on the broadcast. Always cool to see this kind of stuff. I'll probably watch it back sometime this week, and yeah, hopefully I'll talk to you guys more this year.
Hopefully we get to talk to you in just a couple weeks' time. Brian Mercurio, guys, driver of the number 1 machine. And now Daniel Falkingham is going to be sitting right next to our third-place driver, Logan Help.
Logan Help comes home P3, and Logan, I don't know where to start with your race, because it seemed like you were running pretty good early, then had a little long track, managed to drive out to the field. Just take us through your race.
Yeah, just first of all, huge thanks to Nexus Esports. They had an awesome truck this week, and I am just so excited with how I was able to come away with a P3 after that earlier in the race. I'm telling you what, I wish I made that mistake earlier in the week, because that was the first time I did that in any of my practices, and it caught me so off guard. But to be able to regain quickly like that and be able to not just lose as little time as possible and come back there. I had my spotter Brian Hicks there on the box, keeping me calm, telling me it was all good, and we were able to come home with a really good P3 finish and start this season off great. The whole reason I joined iRacing in 2018 was to get in the Coke Series, and this is a really good first step, or second step, or third, however you want to look at it, to get there. So I'm excited with that result.
Well, you have a goal in mind, and right now it's a really good start to kick off this second round of Road to Pro. And now take us back to that mistake. Like, if you wouldn't have done that, if you wouldn't have gone off track, you did really good to keep out of the tire barriers, because a lot of people had issues through that same corner all night long. But it seemed like every time they're in the tire barrier, so you did really good to keep that thing in one piece. If you didn't make that mistake, could you have maybe had someone for Taylor Hurst possibly, or do you think he was already out of your guys' zip code even to begin with?
Well, I will say that if we pit on the same lap, then no, I think I would have been second. But you know how crazy the pit stops were here and how quickly it all changed stuff up. I genuinely think if I didn't make that mistake, I might have had something for Taylor there. Whether or not it win, I would have put up. I think I would have put up a pretty big fight there. So, you know, it is what it is. We learn from these mistakes. We'll go out through the rest of this season and round, and we won't make any more stupid mistakes like that again, hopefully. So we're going to learn from this, and we're going to come back even stronger, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of this round.
Yeah, if you definitely feel that you can come back even stronger, even after having a great race, having that mistake, then this whole field should be worried about what the 63 camps got here this round. But glad you could bring it home in one piece. Still got a podium, so a very good finish out for you and the Nexus Esports gang. Anybody else want to thank?
Just thank you guys over here for putting on the broadcast. I love going back and watching these, and my family and friends love watching these as well. Just once again, Nexus Esports for all the setup work this week. Just incredible work, and we got really quick. Thanks to Brian Hicks, my spotter. He does awesome up there on the box. Thanks to Numbers by Joe. He does really good numbers. On my stream, I had my number hanging up behind me, and it looks really good on my wall. And finally, thanks to Roasted Gems Coffee for being on the car as well. And anyone else who supports me and keeps their eye out for me in these races, thanks to you guys as well. And I hope you enjoyed that race.
Yeah, for sure. It was great for Marcy. Had a lot of action tonight and making those sponsors happy. So keep on going. Hopefully we'll see you again on FTN in 2 weeks. But if not, we wish you the best of luck whenever we see you again. So keep on going. Great start for you.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you everyone else in here. Let's do the broadcast.
Logan Helton P3, guys.
Yeah, that's going to wrap it up for our interview portion of this. So we'll go on a little roundtable discussion for just a second. I'll start with you, Jason. Mid-Ohio, everybody knew it was going to kind of be crazy-ish, where we had some people who fell back quite a bit. We had some big movers. Trayton Lavovich moved up from the 31st position up to the 21st position. From 23rd to 10th, Seth DeMerchant. A couple big names fell back quite a bit. Boyd Hogan being one notable. Matt Kemp also fell back 32nd and 33rd. Going into Pocono, a lot of these drivers are going to have to rebound. Well, let's wrap up with this one. How do you leave out of here with the mindset that you can go to Pocono and potentially flip your luck?
Just like I was talking to Brian Mercurio, fellow Jersey native, so I'm going to be rooting for him biasly, but we're not going to talk about that. I mean, you go into Pocono in just a couple weeks on July 20th. I mean, that is 3 turns that are very tricky. They don't call it the tricky triangle for nothing. Turn 1 off Speedway, turn 2, the tunnel turn. You know, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, turn 3 is the Milwaukee Mile. All 3 of those turns, all uniquely shaped, all uniquely banked, all based off 3 unique historic racetracks, you know. So it's going to be an interesting one. You know, we saw here tonight at Mid-Ohio, typical road course race, you know, strategy, your usual guys who are quick on the road course. It was a fun race to call. We had a lot of great battles. You just see here for this eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series that every position and every point matters. You saw earlier on, right at the end of the race, Kenny Brady, Eddie Curter, hard battle. Kennedy was able to beat Eddie Curter right there coming through those last few laps. I'm looking forward to Pocono here in a couple weeks. I can't wait to call that race. I can't wait to go to the race weekend there with my girlfriend and some of my buddies. It's going to be one heck of a time. Dan, what'd you think of tonight's race?
I'm pretty much echoing all the same statements you had, and I'm very surprised of how many comers and goers we had. Like we said, Seth DeMerchant started us at the top 20, finished in the top 10, and just the whole other guys. I mean, very, very fun race to watch tonight. I definitely feel like it was a lot more action-packed than the 2 races we had here last year. So very, very fun to watch all these guys going at it and kind of getting a little bit of a taste of what we're going to see over these next few months to see who will be the top 20 head of the Contender Series and who will most likely be joining me there, because that's probably where I'm going to be at the end of the year. But anyway, it was very fun to be back with you guys again, and I'm ready to do this again for the next 6 races, and I'm just ready to see what's to come this season.
Quick cleanup note that I will push out there just one more time for all of our iRacing fans. The World of Outlaw World Championship broadcast start July 10th. That'll be on iRacing, Twitch, Facebook, and also on YouTube. Don't forget the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series will be live July 11th, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for Countdown to Green. You can join the crew there. But you can catch Evan Pasoko and Blake McCandless for live flag-to-flag coverage of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series at the Nashville Superspeedway, where Daniel Falkenkamp will be competing, and the number 54 Interstate Battery JGR Toyota. For all of us here tonight from LSR TV, from FTN, from my broadcast partners Daniel Falkenkamp, Jason Rockefeller, and our amazing producer Charles Wooten, I'm Terry Radford saying so long, farewell. We'll see you July 20th for the Tricky Triangle here for the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying Series. Good night, everybody.